This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Well, hey, good morning to you. First Alert Weather Breakdown. I'm meteorologist. Hold up. Who am I?
Evan.
I was about to say I'm meteorologist CJ Cartledge, and that would make you meteorologist CJ Cartledge, but that is not true. That is not true at all. You are CJ, right?
Yes.
Okay, glad we got that down. Man, we got a lot to get to, and we're already messing up our names. We're gonna get it together, all right? We're gonna get it together. Anyways, welcome to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. I am meteorologist Evan Thomason. You are CJ Cartledge. What you got going on, CJ? How are you? First of all, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I can't complain. Woke up another day, so I'm glad to be here at work to talk about the weather once again. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I know this is a whole big week of podcasts lining up, honestly, on the First Alert Weather Breakdown, mainly because of the wintry weather we have on the way later this week. We've already designated both Thursday and Friday as KSLA News 12 First Alert Weather Days. I will say here in the news department, maybe not news department, but within our, I've heard a bunch of people at our work saying they're not coming into work Thursday and Friday already from what they've seen on some of the weather models. And from seeing that here at work already, I'm just a little concerned, honestly, for some people, especially if you really want to get out and drive. It's going to be dangerous.
Yeah, we could just see some severe travel impacts associated with this storm, especially with for areas around I-20 and northward. Most of the rainfall is going to be down to the south, but areas around I-20 and northward could see the freezing rain and the snow, which we'll be talking about here in this forecast or in this podcast today.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to be talking about that here right now, and let's get straight into it because actually we do have something coming up live streamed at 11 o'clock immediately after this, so we got to skedaddle is the point. But thank you for those of you watching on Facebook as well. We are live streaming this on Facebook. Feel free to leave a comment, and we will try to get to it quickly. No guarantees today. Again, today is we got to make sure we kind of stay on schedule because we do have something specifically at 11 o'clock to stream. Something else, that is. We're talking about a bitter forecast here for today, but all the concern definitely is probably mostly on the First Alert Weather Days that we have coming for Thursday and Friday with chances of snow, chances of freezing rain, chances of ice, chances of rain, and everything in between there with everything coming on in to our region. So, yeah, we're watching out and staying First Alert and weather aware about that. And we also are going to be talking about TikTok Tuesday with CJ, which is also on our stuff coming in on Thursday and Friday. In fact, actually, if you don't mind, CJ, I think I'm going to start off with your TikTok as well.
Okay.
If you don't mind. So, because your TikTok kind of introduces us to what we're dealing with for this coming Thursday and Friday. So, I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. But, yeah, you want to go ahead and introduce what you got going on for this TikTok Tuesday?
Yeah, as you may have known or may have heard from us here at the KSLA First Alert Weather Center and on our newscast and everything, we have been publishing this information on. Snow is expected for most areas around I-30 and northward. Freezing rain expected for areas between I-20 and I-30 and around the I-20 corridor. Mostly rain for the southern half of the Arklatex, mainly south of I-20. And this video is just on the forecast as of midday on Monday. So the forecast may have changed a little bit since then, but this is just to introduce it and see how the forecast has changed since yesterday, around 24 hours from this point in time. So that's basically what the TikTok is about.
All right, let's go and head on into it.
Could see snow and ice here in the Arklatex by Thursday and Friday of this week. Here's what you should know. By early Thursday morning, we can expect the system to bring mostly freezing rain for areas north of I-20 and mostly rain showers, maybe a few heavy rain showers for areas south of I-20. We'll see mostly a wintry mix through the daytime hours due to temperatures rising higher than 32 degrees, which is the freezing point for water. But as we move into Thursday night and early Friday morning, we can start to see some more snowfall for most areas north of I-30, mainly due to temperatures plummeting down into the 20s for most of the area. These same conditions look to continue until the early afternoon hours on Friday when this system leaves. The snowfall potential looks to be the highest for areas around I-30 and northward with 2 to 5 inches expected according to this model. Mainly between I-20 and I-30 looks to be mostly a wintry mix, and most areas south of I-20 will experience mostly rain showers as a result of this system. Expect travel impacts as we head into Thursday, Friday, and potentially into Saturday due to icy road conditions from this system here. But as we get closer in time, make sure to stay weather aware as changes are likely to occur.
Yeah, so that's a great overview that you had there, CJ. Thank you very much. Obviously, I think the biggest just generic thing to know is that this could impact lots of our travel around the region on both Thursday and Friday in of existence. Obviously, we're going to go to the specifics in just a moment, but I think that's what we're dealing with here at the basic level for the end of the work week. So you got, thankfully, 2 days to prepare, which you might need to. There's things to watch out for, such as, check your generators. Power outages are possible. Seeing if you need to be anywhere Thursday or Friday. I mean, it might be legitimate just to call out of work. I would not be surprised to even see school closures. I'm going to be quite frank with you. So, you got anything else, CJ?
Make sure to stock up on food and water just in case if your power goes out for a long amount of time. Because icy conditions are expected. Ice can get on the power lines, and that could cause power outages or any other outages that you may have, or electricity outages, anything that you may think of. Just to be safe, just try not to travel on those roads on Thursday and Friday, especially if you're around the I-20 corridor and northward, because it's mostly going to be snow and freezing rain out there. Now, snow totals have actually just came out, I believe, earlier today, haven't they?
Yes.
National Weather Service have put out their preliminary snowfall total forecast, and we're looking at potentially upwards of 5 inches for areas north of I-30 here, and not so much snow for Shreveport and Bossier. So if you're hoping for any snow, it's not going to be much. It's mostly going to be the slushiness out there across those regions.
Especially because, in particular with Shreveport, it's going to be mixed in with rain, freezing rain, and all types of precipitation, honestly, for those pretty much along I-20. Yes, you hinted at that pretty well. So we got 2 more things of business here on the First Alert Weather Breakdown. First of all, thanks for sharing your TikTok, obviously. We're going to go into the forecast. We're going to go to extended forecast here, First Alert Weather Breakdown. Then we're going to take a break. And then after that break, we will answer any and all comments on, I wouldn't say all. We'll see if we get to all of them. But we're going to answer a number of Facebook questions after one commercial break until we run out of time, essentially. But for now, we're going to go into the forecast first and foremost, and then we'll go to the comments a little bit later. So thanks to for those of you already sending in some comments on our Facebook feed and on our YouTube feed as well. For these of you watching on the KSLA live stream and want to send something to us, again, Facebook and YouTube is the way to do so live so we can answer them for you here on this platform. All right, let's get into the forecast. Obviously, the big headline here for the day today is the cold weather, which eventually leads into snow and ice coming by this Thursday and Friday, especially because that cold air stays trapped in place. So what to wear in for the day today. Let's go over the headlines still that you need to know for today and tomorrow before we get into all the First Alert Weather Breakdown stuff happening later on this week. So, remember, we recommend gloves and something basically beyond just the heavy coat because it is bitter cold out there. We still feels like temperatures down into the lower 20s so far this morning. Winter boots maybe to give your feet a little more comfort as well, help keep them a little more warm as well for the time being. A scarf might be necessary. If you forgot something out the door yesterday, might be a better idea to remind yourself that you should take it out for the day today. Here's a look at the current conditions. If temperatures at least getting into the 30s here for now, 36 in Shreveport, 31 for Texarkana, 28 in Mount Pleasant. For the feels like temperatures this afternoon, they only get into the upper 30s, though. Pretty darn cold. And this stays in place for the rest of the week, honestly.
Yeah, and these temperatures are expected to fall down back into the 20s across the area, or it feels like temperatures, that is. Maybe even into the teens for areas near Mount Pleasant and north and east Texas and far north of the Arklatex there that you see in that pink color. But as we go into the afternoon, those highs will still remain in the lower 40s and upper 30s, just as Evan had said to us here. But we're expecting temperatures to drop as we move into our Thursday, drop a little bit in terms of the highs, not necessarily the lows. We could see some higher lows as compared to the next previous days here. But highs won't be too far away from it, mainly because of the winter weather that is expected. Heavy snowfall is expected most areas along and north of I-30 with several inches possible. I saw snowfall totals potentially up to 8 inches in some spots for areas north of I-30. Freezing rain is most likely along the I-20 corridor. Expected impacts are very difficult travel and power outages are possible, Evan.
Especially with the accumulation of ice. I'm going to be honest and go ahead before we play the future track for what we're really expecting here. I actually have crashed my car on some icy roads. The only time I've ever done it. So just to give you an impact, all right? I just wanted to put that out there. I'll just tell yourself to be careful. I did do that a number of years back. But anyways, just want to make sure and keep yourself first alert and first aware. Those icy roads are a beast and a different story. All right, so we're actually going to play you 2 different future tracks. This is future track number 1. And then we heading into later on into, for today, we're also looking at the future track of it being rainy and snowy. A mix of everything starting on Thursday morning, and it carries on into Thursday afternoon too, through Texarkana, Mount Pleasant, DeQueen. That's where we start the snow coverage, and then we're looking at pretty much ice in between the 2 layers. Longview to Shreveport, pretty much for those along I-20 are looking at the greatest impacts of ice in those regions. We're looking at rain showers below there around Natchitoches and Nacogdoches for Thursday evening as well. Then as we creep on later on into Friday, most of that starts to finally drift away by the time we get into Friday night as well. So that's where we're staying first alert about and weather aware about. We already have a winter storm watch in effect for basically all of those along I-20 as well, from Longview over to Shreveport, over to maybe not including Ruston. But essentially, what the winter storm watch sets up is these are the areas that have the greatest chance of getting any chance of snow at all. So anywhere that's really not included in the winter storm watch, you're not really expecting any and all snow really whatsoever. Again, most of the precipitation along I-20 is going to be a mix between rain and snow, but snow is still possible in those areas. So to go over everything one last time here with this forecast is that we're going to be accumulating snowfall pretty much along and north of I-30 for I-20 and the north side of I-20, but basically the area sandwiched in between I-20 and I-30. We're looking at a wintry mix of everything in that area. So watch out for that. And then lastly, for those south of I-20, it's mainly just going to be your typical rain event. And honestly, not that many impacts are expected for that area. It's going to be cold. It's going to be rainy, which is going to be, still not great, but limited travel impacts. And you really shouldn't see, again, any turnover from rain into anything else for those of you pretty much south of I-20 there. All right, so here's a peek at that 7-day forecast. 43 here today, 44 on Wednesday. Got temperatures in the mid to upper 30s for Thursday and Friday. Again, we have first alert weather days set up for Thursday and Friday, both of those days. Want to make sure you're weather aware and watch out as well, as we got, all that. A whole lot of everything coming in on both of those days. Thankfully, it's sunny for the next 2 days to prepare, and it's sunny as well for this coming weekend too. So yeah, a lot to look forward to, CJ. Man, that was a little bit of a mouthful. I think we're gonna go over the future track one more time after this commercial break, and we're gonna get to some of your Facebook questions as well in just a moment. So stay with us. KSLA News 12 First Weather Breakdown. We'll be right back after this. All right, welcome back. First alert with a breakdown. Took a little short break there. Thanks. Yeah, we're going to start answering some questions on Facebook just for a little while. We have precisely 5 to 10 minutes. We're going to go over the future track one more time, actually, before answering some specific questions. One of the things we did was go over the future track a little bit, I'm going to be honest, a little bit quickly. So we're going to go over it again, and then we're going to go to every question. Thank you for being patient and waiting. For those of you on Facebook, I see there's a number of questions. In fact, there's 10 to be exact that we're going to try to get to in just a moment. We're going to go over the future track a little more lengthy time. Also, I want to show you 2 different future tracks as well. Make sure you keep yourself first alert and prepared with us. KSLA News 12. All right, let's pull up the first one. So again, we're going to show you 2 different future tracks because guess what? There are multiple weather models out there which help to give us advice and suggest what they exactly think is going to happen. Because I'm going to be honest, one of the most difficult things in weather to predict is types of precipitation. And what I mean by that is the question of will it rain or will it be rain or will it be snow or will it be something in between, which weather models can very easily teeter-totter in certain directions. So this is a look at our first future track. This comes through starting Thursday morning. It's going to start with the snow showers right in areas around I-30 and north of I-30. And then you get that mix pretty much in between, basically in between I-20 and I-30, and maybe even a brief mix for Texarkana. If you're staring at Shreveport, for example, this weather model in particular just shows us mostly getting rain from this system, actually, and especially for those areas of Nacogdoches and Natchitoches. Once you approach Thursday night into Friday morning, that's when that snow level kind of drifts a little bit farther south, and then it's going to encompass all of I-30. And maybe give us briefly in Caddo and Bossier Parish, maybe a brief shot of snow. And if you're looking also at that thin pink layer, it's kind of hovering either at or right above I-20 as well. I want to keep you first alert and weather aware about that because that always contains dangerous weather conditions. Sorry, I didn't mean to go quickly through the future track there. But as we progress now throughout the day on Friday and start to warm things up, looks like most of the snow starts to drift away. And then we get the last little bit of some leftover rain showers, if you will, for Friday afternoon. Again, that's one future track. Let's look at the second one, which includes it's the same time, same place, just a different weather model suggesting something else. So again, for Tuesday and Wednesday, it's mostly dry. Then you get into Thursday morning. It suggests more snow showers starting out around, again, I-30, continuing northward up towards DeQueen as well. But if you notice with this weather model, it's going to hint, instead of the rain starting off in Shreveport on Thursday, it indicates that we're having more wintry mix of precipitation, including anything from freezing rain over to ice and sleet. Honestly, I'm more worried about those kinds of precipitation when it comes to driving around and other weather impacts with that, such as power outages as well. It even indicates that we could get a brief mix of precipitation all the way as far south as Natchitoches, actually, which again, as you saw with the other weather model, that definitely doesn't suggest that at all. But we could get definitely a brief mix of wintry weather as far south as Natchitoches as we roll into Friday morning. That mix of ice and sleet and freezing rain still continues on Shreveport and Longview. For those of you who have been staring at like Mount Pleasant and Texarkana, though, the snow showers continue all the way through Friday morning, which will actually accumulate a lot of snowfall. There's been again, as CJ mentioned earlier, there's been some snow totals up by Texarkana and those north of I-30 that have as much as 4 to 8 inches of snowfall from this system, which is actually racks up a good amount of lengthy snowfall too. All right, now I'm going to take me and CJ back both on cam. We got 5 minutes, a little less than that actually, to answer up all questions. Got 3 minutes. All right, so first of all, we're going to talk Lewis. I live about 10 miles south of Texarkana on the line of snow and wintry mix. What does that mean? And what could we get on the line of both? Well, I guess that shows, since you're on the line of snow and a wintry mix, kind of means you're mostly getting snow. But then again, you could get that hint of also freezing rain, which could freeze up the roadways. Not so good.
Yeah. I believe that through the daytime hours on Thursday, where temperatures could reach above freezing at the surface, you could get more of that freezing rain. But overnight on Thursday, as that line dips below the I-30 corridor and farther south, where that line is between the snow and the wintering mix, you guys could get more of the snowfall. So you could get the freezing rain first and then get snow right on top of that, which makes it even worse for driving conditions out there on both days.
Yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned earlier with my car story, ice is not, honestly, I'm more worried about ice than snow for the roadways.
Right.
It's even more troublesome because with snow, yes, it'll stick to the roadways, but snow doesn't obviously freeze up as much as ice.
Right.
It doesn't make the roadways as nearly as slick.
It has a tad bit more traction for those wheels.
Yes.
But ice is ice.
For certainly. So Elysian Fields, Texas, somebody asked about that. I'm trying to remember where Elysian Fields, Texas is.
Elysian Fields.
I can look that. You can look that up. As you look that up, we're gonna go over quickly. We only got 2 more minutes before we gotta get going here. People talking about crazy stores. I believe it. I might go. You might prep yourself up now for some of those stores before they really get filled up tomorrow and the next day. Bonita asks about Grambling and the Ruston area. Thankfully, that area is not under the Winter Storm Watch. Winter Storm Watch is in effect for those pretty much along and north of I-20. For Ruston, you're mainly looking at probably mostly rain, honestly. Maybe a brief shot of wintry mix, which could freeze up the roadways. But it's I'd say maybe be on the lookout for a few things of ice. Snow in Ruston, probably not. Probably not at all is what I'm trying to get at. So you're looking at a mix of mainly rain and wintry mix, if that makes sense, between freezing rain and rain. But did you find out where Texas is?
That looks like it's more in West Texas. I see Alliance, as that says Alliance. Allegiance Field.
It's spelled Elysian. You spelled it correctly?
Oh, Elysian Fields.
There you go, CJ.
I thought you said Allegiant Fields.
I might have. I'm sorry.
That's in East Texas. That's just north of DeBerry Crossroads. It's just south of I-20.
Ah, gotcha.
Between Carthage and Wascom.
Oh, between Carthage and Wascom. That's more of the wintry mix zone.
Yeah, wintry mix, more rainfall than wintry mix, I would say.
Yeah, so who was asking about that? I'm going to go real quick. Justin was asking about that real quick. So, yes, watch out for wintry mix pretty much right along between Wascom and Carthage in that area. I know we got to go quick. We got to be off in the next minute or so. South Bossier, wintry mix. That's mostly what you're watching out for. Again, for Shreveport, maybe a brief shot of snow, maybe a few rain showers mixed in, but you're going to be watching out for that wintry mix as well. Last question I'm going to answer is from Alicia. Do we think schools will close? Yes.
Do believe so.
We'll have the latest on KSLA News 12. That hasn't been, I know, on everybody's mind yet because it's only Tuesday.
Right.
But we're expecting some of those to come out and start being issued out maybe as soon as today. We'll see. We'll keep you first alert here at KSLA News 12.
Nothing's official yet in terms of school closing, so make sure to be aware of that as days go on.
Yes. So thank you very much for joining me, CJ. Appreciate it, as always, every Tuesday. We'll keep you weather aware on this podcast throughout the rest of this work week. We got to head out. Tomorrow's podcast, same time. Same place, Wednesday at 10:30. We'll see you back again on Facebook as well. Thanks for watching. KSLA News 12 First Alert Weather Breakdown. Tomorrow, Wednesday, 10:30. Be there. Be square. Most importantly, be weather aware. We'll see you again tomorrow.